Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. Now that previous video that I just did, I was talking about cashing out your crypto into USD. Now, another option I see that's coming still is that treasury dollar. That might be a good place to cash out some crypto, but we're not quite there yet. We don't know what's going to happen with that treasury dollar once it goes live. We will have a better understanding as we push into the future. I want to start with this as well because I talked about this in a video yesterday about the exchanges disappearing over time. So what if they push the Stablecoin Trust Act upon us to eliminate all exchanges and bring upon banks, federally licensed, state licensed issuers only? Now, I think we're already heading in that direction. I think Ripple's going in this direction through Medico, becoming a one-stop shop for crypto. In other words, you would have an on-off ramp there, plus you would also have custody all in one place, like you see right now with Uphold, with their vault that they offer. LCX will also be with us into the future, but I think a lot of exchanges will disappear over time as regulations come. But again, we're not quite there yet with that as well. New article on Ripple's homepage. What are the differences between CBDCs and stablecoins? Now, it's good to educate yourself on this because central bank digital currency, CBDCs, and stablecoins are both forms of digital currency, but they differ significantly in their backing, issuance, and intended use. CBDCs are digital currencies issued and governed by a nation's central bank, making them a digital form of a country's existing fiat currency. Because they are backed by the government, they maintain legal tender status in the issuing country. A primary goal of CBDCs is to improve the efficiency of the payment systems, enhance financial inclusion, and maintain the sovereignty of national currencies, while stablecoins represent the fiat dollar issued by a central bank. CBDCs are the digital dollar. According to the World Economic Forum, reasons countries are exploring CBDCs include preventing the fragmentation of the payment landscape into CBDCs, stablecoins, and private crypto assets. So think about a CBDC as a digital dollar here in the United States. Now, countries are already pushing away from the US dollar. So once the digital dollar comes, we're still going to have to move that digital dollar around the world. And that's where you would have a stable coin in place possibly. But you know what works better? A neutral bridge currency, XRP. I think Ripple's stablecoin, however, is going to get tied in with all the banks through that new stablecoin regulations that are coming. And we will know more over the coming months. But I want to talk about this right here. According to the IMF documentation, it is very real and coming. The new world reserve currency. Now, we know that the US dollar is no longer going to remain the world's reserve currency once CBDC comes. That ends that world reserve status. So what's going to rise as the world's reserve currency? Now, I know a lot of you would be saying, well, that's going to be XRP, but it doesn't need to be XRP, and I don't think it's going to be XRP, and I'll explain why. Implementation of a single global currency will impact every human being on Earth, level playing field. Additionally, it will bring the opportunity to benefit from a one-time $36 trillion value increase to assets worldwide. Big brain concepts discussed here. This comes from Smoke. So dwarfing the benefit will be the opportunity to achieve a one-time increase in value, $36 trillion. Think about that. And when they're talking about a single global currency, it's like a one world currency, which that's what they want because it's not tied to any country. In other words, you don't have one country in control over another country. Why is the US dollar being pushed away from all these countries right now? Because we weaponized it against them time and time again. We're always sanctioning countries. And you know, that's why everybody would agree on a neutral currency. The universal wholesale CBDC would be a single digital currency backed by a basket of currencies from participating central banks, issued via a dedicated exchange for issuance and redemption. It could facilitate cross-border transactions without being tied to any specific jurisdiction or existing national currency. That comes from Mr. Man. Here's what I think is going to happen. Okay, so they want a single currency that's not tied to any country. Think about Ripple's stablecoin that they're about to launch this year. That could definitely become that currency. And think about it sitting there tied to all the other currencies, like one CBDC to rule them all. But you still have to move that CBDC, especially as money's moving in and out of that currency. Or it could be Ripple's stablecoin backed by XRP, the neutral bridge currency that provides on-demand liquidity. Ripple CTO XRP based stablecoins will merge two worlds. Now, this is David Schwarz all the way back in 2020. He said, I think they have different use cases. I don't think an asset pegged to one country's fiat through a central party you have to trust can be universal. But XRP has volatility that makes it harder to use in many use cases. So XRP's volatility was always a problem. But Ripple's stablecoin would not have volatility. Now, let's jump ahead a little bit. On the subject of stablecoins, David Schwarz change of thought on the use of centralized stablecoins. Back in 2019, David said USD-backed stablecoin doesn't solve for that. I don't see how centralized stablecoins can be part of global pools of liquidity that anyone can contribute to and draw off of. But here's David Schwarz today. I do disagree with my last sentence. I definitely see how USD-backed stablecoins can be part of global pools of liquidity that anyone can contribute to and draw off of. I don't recall exactly what I meant by that at the time, but I hope I meant that a USD-backed stablecoin can't connect all the liquidity together because of its jurisdictional tie. There certainly can be open pools of liquidity between various backed stablecoins. Many DeFi ecosystems today have USDC and USDT alongside cryptocurrencies. But what are they trying to do right now? They're trying to get rid of USDT, paved a way for Ripple's new stablecoin. I don't think that one stablecoin will win. If the applications of stablecoins are on decentralized, censorship-resistant blockchains, it seems kind of contradictory to the value proposition to have the entire ecosystem built around a single counterparty or jurisdiction. So what he's saying here is this, that a stablecoin can offer pools of liquidity, but it doesn't make sense because there's too much going on there as far as liquidity. So what I think he's trying to say is that you will have USDC, Ripple's new stablecoin, alongside cryptocurrencies as well. Now, in a space on X, David Schwarz said it's possible that XRP will one day become the world's reserve currency. That's not what David said. Here is what David said.
Existing world reserve currencies to simultaneously exist?
I do, and I think that could happen. I think it's quite realistic that a lot of the world is just done with the dollar as the reserve currency. And I think that there's a lot of places that are willing to try something else. And one of my scenarios, and I don't think it's going to play out quickly, but like one of my wild case success scenarios for a digital asset is if countries start to realize that the US dollar is not going to be the reserve currency forever. Other things are going to be the reserve currency. And the same thing that we saw with banks. Like people when we started selling software to banks, people would say to me, why would a bank use something that like you guys were selling them when they could use something that was like made by banks? And what they didn't realize is that only like 10 banks in the country on the planet are Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan Chase, like the ones who would build a system that the entire planet would run on. For the rest of the banks, that's 6,000 smaller banks. Those are their biggest, strongest competitors. Those are the entities they hate the most. They would not want to use the system built and maintained by them because it's going to be biased in favor of them, their biggest and strongest competitors.
So he just explained why they use RippleNet technology instead of software created by the big banks. But he also said there could be multiple world's reserve currencies. He never said XRP when he was talking. And this goes back to September of 2023. Back then, Ripple stablecoin wasn't even talked about yet. Now Ripple stablecoin is coming. I could see Ripple stablecoin and USDC being the world's reserve currencies, but you're still going to have XRP and XLM used as well. XRP for that on-demand liquidity. XLM also will be providing liquidity and moving these stable coins from one country to another. We're not quite at this point yet, but we are headed in this direction. But I see so many people saying that XRP is going to be the world's reserve currency. I disagree with that. I think it's going to be the world's bridge currency. And why would you want it to be the world's reserve currency? Look at the US dollar right now. It's the world's reserve currency. What is it worth? $1. What's Ripple's stablecoin going to be worth? $1. €1. 1 UK pound. So you would rather have that stablecoin become the world's reserve currency as well as USDC, but you would rather see XRP ending up in those liquidity pools, getting locked up, being there to provide liquidity to move Ripple's stablecoin from country A to country B, is what I'm saying. And I didn't go into depth in this in other videos. I kind of talked about it and then just pushed forward. I wanted to do a more in-depth talk about this. Now, we're not quite sure this is what's going to play out, but this is just my opinion and what I think can happen. And David, most likely, if he thought XRP was going to become the world's reserve currency, he would have named it when he was talking in this video. That's the way I look at it. And I think this was the plan all the way back in 2020 when David was first talking about stablecoins. I think they knew even back then that at some point Ripple would announce one. At that point, they also most likely knew this was going to happen over there at Stellar through USDC. It's just that Stellar didn't launch their own stablecoin. Circle launched USDC instead, and then they partnered up with Stellar. And that's how they're going to push into the future. But the roads all lead back to XLM and XRP anyway. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I hope this video wasn't too confusing. I tried to explain it the best way I could. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.